Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene. So, in the Chronicles of Darkness, Vampire the Requiem, a Requiem for London. Tonight, we set the scene within the area of Kingston upon Thames, within the town of Kingston itself. Such a humble town in the outer boundaries of London, yet seemingly a hotspot of activity for the city. Joshua, Isabella, and Farthingdale have received their response from the dead drop that they left their request at to meet with the revenants, their leadership, if they have one. They've been asked to head to the west side, near the bridge that connects Kingston to the neighboring territory of the Carthians. Marcus and Alicat, Holly has sought you out directly and asked you to go to the same place, causing both individuals or both parties to approach from opposite angles. So as Isabella, Joshua, and Farthingdale approach, Farthingdale, of course, quite invisible, they will see an Alicat and a Marcus either standing at or approaching the same location. An Alicat and Marcus likewise.
Definitely parked my motorcycle somewhere nearby. Just stating.
Yes. So you sit on the border between Kingston and Richmond. And how does everybody react as they see individuals they weren't really expecting to come to this meeting?
Well, what a charming place to have a little reunion.
I would like to say that Marcus has got his balaclava on, his leathers, and even has a voice distorter. So, yeah, that's that.
Okay, so
apart from a sports bag, yeah.
Yeah, you don't necessarily see Marcus. You see Alicat accompanied by some weird fellow. He does trip off your kindred senses. He has a predatory aura. He is definitely a kindred.
I mean, does Alicat even know who's next to her? Because she would not be next to him if she doesn't know who it is. Just saying.
To be fair, once the two would have... Holly, he would have taken the mask off, says, "It's me, I'm just doing it to protect my identity to a certain extent."
Yeah,
He's just been paranoid.
Yeah, Alicat, you were there when Holly asked Marcus to attend alongside you. In fact, she was going to ask Marcus but recognized you as a Carthian, so she asked you as well. So you would probably have reason to assume that this is Marcus, given that it was only the two of you.
Still,
but
you
now you have another two people approaching from the opposite side of the bridge, which is awkward. So you're both
so you do have the mask on?
Yep.
I was going to say, Farthingdale, I assume that you are Shadow Sneaky Man.
Yep. And he is indeed carrying an invisible scythe.
Of course.
Damn right he is. I paid for that scythe.
Yep.
But Joshua, for his part, he's not wearing like an outrageous mask, but he kind of has a a scarf pulled up around his face, and he has his hair tucked in, and he's got a hood up over his head. But he'll say, "Why am I not surprised to see you?"
What's with the Scooby-Doo villain?
Jinkies, Zoiks, Gadzooks. Are you just going to stand there mute, or are we going to have a conversation?
This is awkward.
Saskia, can you hear us?
Sorry, I was muted. I was actually responding. You know, there were appropriate silences.
Oops.
Oops. No, Ellie lights up a cigarette and says, "Nice weather."
Who is your
Is that
friend?
what you call it?
You know, bright sky. What else? I think it's best for my friend to introduce himself.
I'm waiting.
For tonight's proceedings, you can call me Hannibal. I'm just here to help some people.
Subtle.
Mm-hmm. You will notice that both of them. Actually, hang on. Izzy, will you accept the Kevlar armor that I offer?
How stupid does it look?
It's pretty concealable. Like a trench coat will conceal it.
Yeah, I'll wear it.
That's Terry's reaction to most roleplay we do together.
I don't even want to know.
I have to mentally prepare myself for this weekend.
Given the fact that Terry's phrasing was, "Yes, I'll wear it." Right, and this has been recorded, Evan. So
My mind goes from anything kinky to a chicken. Okay.
I mean, Saskia, I don't know what your sex life is like, but your mind immediately goes to chicken, but whatever you choose to think.
all Shiver does is think about choking it. That's all.
Stop making my channel R-rated.
Penis!
I'm concerned about the turn that we have taken.
VCR. It's
Alright.
it's VCR rated.
You guys have effectively met on the middle of Kingston Bridge. Continue.
Understand that in that case, if you want to be Hannibal, I recommend crossing the Alps and fucking off. I have no interest in masked men tonight.
Well, only if I get the promise from you that you won't be telling anyone.
Who are we going to tell? Oh, you might tell people. I'm not going to tell anyone.
You know,
Scout's
those
honor.
crowns. You know what? On your honor. Then I'll take it off.
Ah, a pleasure to see you again, Mr. Irons. Tonight, I'm not here on the prince's business. Tonight, I'm here to see if I can sidestep a clusterfuck before it happens.
And Marcus, with that, will take the balaclava off and reveal his face. Same thing here. I'm trying to help people and not see them massacred.
Kumbaya. Ali will reply.
Farthingdale, would you like to roll me your blood potency plus your obfuscate, please?
Okay, give me a second.
Yep, this is true.
Three successes.
Yeah, you feel something press itself against your obfuscate, but it doesn't break it.
You don't see shit, cat.
Wait, are we all rolling this?
No.
Okay.
That's cool. That doesn't matter.
Just over the com link, Joshua and Isabella are just going to hear a slight giggling.
Oh God.
That's nightmarish.
I'm concerned.
All right. So I take it that you're here to meet a contact the same as we are, yeah?
Sounds about
Which
right.
of us? Oh, you're asking him.
Mm-hmm. Right then. Let's all sit and wait, shall we?
So, how's the night's been going for you?
I'm a bishop now.
Congratulations,
Grace.
Your Excellency.
I absolve you of that sin, my child.
And now for
Marcus
everything
just
else.
laughs.
And now for everything else. Yeah, thought so.
I mean, if you want to come to me for confession, I'm open to hearing it anytime. Bishop, do we have confession? If not, by God, we do now.
You do.
Baby
You definitely have confession. In fact, certain kindred saw it, but
Baby steps.
Scourging, the whole 9 yards.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. No, I don't think that'll work out too well for me.
I see you being the kind of girl who's on her knees for very different reasons than prayer, my child.
Rude.
Oh, you have no idea, my
We're starting again.
And, Allie will do the sort of, hand gesture of like, bring it. And she says, are you jealous?
Y'all thirsty tonight.
Typical Dava.
Okay.
okay. So
I was going to say, Bishop, if you want to step in any time to save your channel's PG rating, I'd recommend it be now.
Think of the children.
Nah,
as you
cool.
bicker amongst yourselves,
Is that what we're calling it these days?
children that I no longer wish to think of. Everybody everybody sees a small ragged young woman with fairly long unkempt blonde hair and pale skin that approaches you. She has this almost permanently sullen look on her face, as if she'd rather be anywhere else, and she approaches you quite warily. Marcus and Ali Cat, you both recognize this person as Holly. The rest of you have not seen her before.
Does she have a predatory aura?
She does. So you recognize her as kindred.
Weird question, because I can't remember. Did the revenants have a predatory aura?
Yes.
Yes, they did, because one of them kicked off when I started to intimidate him, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
All kindred possess predatory auras. Whether or not you can perceive them is a different matter.
Oh, I can't remember, Bishop, because it might be important before we continue on to do deeper things. Did I bring my childer with me, or did she want to come?
Yeah, she did want to come, so she'll be...
Why is your childer so much better than mine?
I don't know. Because it's played by,
I mean,
played
you
by
want to
Bishop.
come too. Don't be mean. Wow. Wow. Bully. She's right here. So just so you know, she is present.
Mm-hmm. And who might this young lady be? Joshua will say as he leans on his cane.
That's less important than where I'm going to be taking you. You look, kind of looks you up and down. What is Joshua wearing?
He's wearing a kind of a long coat that kind of drags to the ground. Joshua tends to wear armor that is very, he doesn't hide the armor whenever he wears it. He has the whole moniker of the quote unquote domain's Black Knight that he plays into.
Hmm.
Batman.
Though you can't see his sword because it's actually hidden in the cane.
Hmm.
Oh shit, in this situation, if I'm Batman, that makes fucking Farthingale Robin, and that's terrifying.
Fuck that.
Then maybe Batgirl.
No, at best I'm the Joker. At worst, I'm everyone. I'm whatever your worst nightmare is.
Oh fuck!
Actually, hold on. I just realized that makes me fucking Dr. Crane. I'm Scarecrow.
Anyway, let Bishop continue. Sorry, what were you saying, Bishop?
She just said, "You look like a kid."
I think Bishop may have died. Oh no, he's there.
No, he's there.
Alexis.
He says he kind of contemplates that for a moment. He says, "I have no hostile intentions, but if necessary, I will give as good as I get. I'm here in the spirit of truce."
She doesn't really respond to that. She just sort of resets back to her rather sullen expression. She doesn't appear to be much for talking at all. It's almost like she's sneering at all of you.
Mood.
Well, she isn't quite being that aggressive. So she looks at you all. Is there any other company I need to be worried about?
Bishop,
Mm-hmm.
reflexive action so that she sees the momentary illusion of a shadow flickering behind Isabella and Joshua. I'm not standing behind them, but you'll see a shadow flicker between them as if there's someone there.
Okay. She looks, she kind of looks between all of you, sees the shadow, sees the shadow. Her eyes glimmer for a moment as she takes a step back and goes, "Ah, fuck."
Can other kindred see that shadow effect, or is it only Holly?
Only her, and only her one sense.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
We have made
Nice.
We have made preparations for our protection, should it be required.
She looks like she's about to say something, but holds her tongue. Well, and she looks at Ali Cat and Marcus. Guess we should be going. Hope you can swim.
We're swimming.
Why that?
She looks over the bridge. Just stay fairly close. Once you're in, it's easy to get lost.
Oh,
She's,
yeah.
She's
Okay.
she's just gonna jump into the River Thames.
Oh, for real though?
Ugh.
Marcus will properly dive bomb after her. It's obviously not the first time that he's doing something like this.
Ellie's just gonna step off the bridge.
I contemplate my dry cleaning bill before I follow.
Yeah, guess I'm following.
Following those.
So I'm gonna like
two,
actually
look at.
spot because I have a med kit, but that can't go in the water. Is there a spot like kind of like out of the way I could put it, like kind of stash it somewhere, or could I take it with me?
What are you taking with you?
The med kit that I always carry.
Yeah, you can take it with you.
Okay,
It's gonna be soggy as fuck. You can take it with you.
damn it, that's fine. The important stuff's probably sealed.
Yeah, pretty much.
It
It's
will
largely
be.
sealed. It's not gonna impact the medical kit too much. It worst you might just need to wash it out later. But she jumps into the River Thames. Not exactly the cleanest of water sources.
I'm from Philly. It's fine.
Farthingale's going to look over for a few seconds, like mildly contemplating should he just go for a walk.
Come on.
And then after a moment, looking at the scythe and just saying over the comlink, if either of you can hear me, I'm going to make her lose a finger. Because this jacket was new. And then she's going to dump in the water, taking the
Y'all are
scythe with
such
him.
princesses.
Not the
Hey,
venture, isn't.
I need to look pristinely terrifying.
I would argue if the Grim Reaper came to me drenched and angry, I'd be more terrified.
To be fair, that's kind of what he's going to end up doing to her. Like,
But,
you
Tired
made
of
me
your
go
shit.
in the river.
But yeah, no. Do we have to make rolls, Bishop, or are we good?
No, your kindred, you are in no way buoyant at all, because you are, unless you have the Blush of Life active, in which case you are. So one of you will actually float. But for everybody else,
Athletics?
it's you don't really need to make a roll. It's it has a current, but it's
How can we see down here?
You have kindred senses. Kindred senses allow you to see virtually perfectly in all situations. The only time kindred have difficulty seeing anything is when there is some supernatural effect blocking their vision, or complete pitch darkness, so a complete absence of any light, in which case you get a minor penalty. But even then, you can see more clearly than most beings in the darkness. So seeing through the water is actually quite simple.
Right.
Particularly since there is quite a lot of ambient light bouncing off it and shining through it. There is actually enough light that you can see fairly clearly, and you take no penalties to your vision as you attempt to follow Holly. She does every now and again. She actually just sinks all the way to the bottom. She swept up ever so briefly in the current, but as soon as she hits the bottom, she seems to have her footing quite cleanly and just begins walking partway down the river. And it's pretty easy for you to catch up after her. Eventually, after a few minutes, you're not sure how far away you are from the bridge. She walks on over to what appears to be some disused sewage pipe. Looks very old, actually. and she actually begins to fight against her own lack of buoyancy and begin to doesn't even really attempt to swim. You see her sprout claws, and she begins to climb up the side, the edge of the river to reach it. It's about where your foreheads are, so she you could probably also jump and attempt to reach it that way, but she just climbs on up pretty quickly and makes her way in.
Ooh, does parkour help with this?
Oh yeah, parkour means you hop on in with no issue at all.
Yeah. I actually get to use the skill.
What's the roll, Bishop?
It's just a simple strength athletics test. Mainly because you have a current fighting against you, in addition to the fact that only one of you is you're all non-buoyant apart from one of you, who I'll say gets +2 dice because.
Who is the buoyant one?
That would be me because I've got Blush of Life on because I can keep it on long.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Or
I'm gonna be like a shark.
secrets. Way!
Are there any minuses to this roll or no?
No, it's just a standard roll.
We can add vigor to it, yeah?
Yes. It's a strength plus athletics roll because you're trying to fight against the current and you're against your own lack of buoyancy. So
10s don't double unless we've got a speciality, right?
no. A specialty adds 1 dice to your check, and tends to automatically explode. So what happens is when you roll a 10, you end up rolling another dice,
Right.
which means in theory 10s could infinitely stack, but it's unlikely. Oh dear.
All right.
Oh,
Wow. Oh,
3
man.
successes.
Can
that
I
is the shittiest roll I've rolled in this game. I will admit to that.
try to grab her?
Actually, because you have parkour,
Yeah.
yes, you can just grab her and drag her in.
Okay, do you have to roll for it, or can I just do it?
I'll let you just do it. You have
Okay,
parkour.
sweet. You start to float away, I just grab you and throw you up on the...
You know, Sasuke, you have protein. You can literally.
I know.
You can literally grow aquatic features.
I know.
You can become a fish.
You can get a swim bladder.
No,
But have you ever seen a cat in the water?
Catfish.
That's sort of how Ellie reacts right now.
So you see Alley Cat just kind of flails impotently, jumping up, and then immediately sinking back down to grab this sort of like that can't.
The mental image of Ali springing up and then like desperately clawing
As you know, Bishop,
the current.
Right?
Bishop, as he climbs, because I'm climbing up something physically, haven't I now, out of the water?
You're still underwater. Actually, you're just heading. You're just climbing out. You're just getting off the. I guess the.
Yeah, because if this
the
was
bottom of
above the
the bottom of
water,
the-
if
of
we
the
were
river,
climbing
yeah.
back out the water to do this, then that bint has some questions to answer.
I was going to say, and all Joshua
we
will
have to go in
think,
the water to begin with.
and all Joshua will think is, and so it is, the Lord shall be the chain around the neck of the unrighteous.
See, I was just thinking, cool, we're in the water level now.
Anyone have iron boots?
Okay, so have you all rolled?
Yep.
Yes, 3 successes.
Okay,
Cool,
so everybody
successes.
apart from Alley Cat makes it in. And then when it becomes obvious that Alley Cat is not making her way up, everybody sees Isabella double her way back. And just simply pulls on Alley Cat with a pretty heavy heft and
Yeet.
strength, and manages to get her up. You're still, because this pipe is obviously underwater, you're still all underwater. But once you begin to make your way further into the pipe, and you kind of have to keep your head down a little bit. It's a fairly tight squeeze, and you're all walking single file. Now eventually, it sort of begins to spread on out. You find yourself in a sort of much larger underwater area, and Holly begins to swim up. And when you do, you'll find yourselves in what appears to be some sort of large cistern. Places again. This is not a. This is a very disused part of the sewers. It's not It's not really used at all. It appears to have been abandoned some time ago. There's a lot, the brick is slowly falling out, and it's clearly been chipped and eroded away with time and the currents. And despite the fact that it remains disused, it still remains that a fetid, lingering scent of waste.
Gross.
And so it is, I am the angel who hath fallen from paradise, I suppose. He'll say as he kind of
Can you talk underwater? We're underwater.
You can.
You will be talking. You will be talking bubbles.
Well, no, I mean, I was going to say, I thought we'd come up out of it because we were in this
once you've come up, you can speak.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to kind of say that as he hefts Izzy up, like the last few feet, because he's going to offer her his hand because he's a gentleman.
You're going to talk like that forever now, just so I can mentally prepare.
I mean, I'm a bishop now. I have to be like at least 10% holier than thou.
Are there any?
What I actually did. Never mind. You thought at once. That's not going to work. Yeah, fuck it. I'll just continue. No, Elliot's just gonna say thank you to Isabella, and then get out and shake herself, very much like a cat.
Haven't done that since I was a kid.
Well, look on the bright side. At least we get to go shoe shopping tomorrow.
Is everyone here? Do I have to go back? No? Good.
Buddy check.
Oh, by the way, is Farthingdale visible?
Nope. When everyone says body check, there's a momentary illusion in the eye of this Holly person that for a second she was sure she saw a hand in the water.
God, why are you all so creepy? Fucking hell.
Just him.
Yeah.
That's Davis for you.
She looks pretty.
I'm a Nosferatu, fucker.
I was going to say, you see Joshua lean down and he extends his hand to Farthingdale to kind of help him up the last bit of the way. Like, come on, up you get.
It depends. If Farthingdale's invisible, you can't see him.
I thought he said he was visible.
No, still invisible. He just
invisible. You would have
because people don't even notice him. He just quietly pulls himself up.
Yeah, if you would have seen the splash of water that he would have left behind, and when he comes up out of the water, you see the dispersion of water where someone should be, but obviously you don't see Farthingdale. So there's something. So people might perhaps notice that there's clearly someone invisible following them, but they can't actually see the person themselves.
Oh, and if I may add to the creep factor here, you will notice there is a roughly just human body shaped dispersion of water. Then there is clearly a dispersion of water from something like a long pole with a large curved thing at the top of it. Just drip, drip, drip from the point of the side.
Marcus opens the sports bag, water coming out of it, of course, and starts rummaging for a sword that seems to be made of shadow, and he's just keeping it very close to his side, eyeing the area suspiciously.
Nice day for an ambush, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And now people are wondering why it is we wore armor to an ambush.
You'll make your way up. There's the system. The system is quite large, and it seems to have multiple exits. Once everybody is ready, Holly will simply warily gesture all of you and begin walking through one of these exits. You can all your footsteps echo quite loudly near this place, reverberates sound. To quite a significant extent. It it kind of echoes for like 10 plus seconds. And there is every now and then you kind of hear the loose shifting of brick, either down the sewers or back from where you came. It is not as if it is collapsing. Rather, it is as if a brick shifted or cracked, or if dust fell. And you can also hear the sound of rodents. And would also everybody like to make me wits plus composure or animal ken, whatever is the highest?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Penalty is -2 dice.
Wait, wits plus composure, Bishop?
Wits plus composure, yeah.
That's 2 attributes.
Yep.
And
You can
it's
do that in
always
this game.
-2 dice.
Yeah, that is something that it happens fairly not frequently, but infrequently in this game. Wits
What's
plus
the-
the
If you have a specialty in something, what does that do for it?
gives you +1 dice.
Oh, sweet.
And it was -2 dice on either of those rolls?
-2 dice as a penalty.
Okay.
Bugger.
I mean, I haven't had a success so far on anything. See? There you go.
2 successes.
I'm going to switch to dice roller number 2 now. Because this is insane.
It's probably the same shit dice luck no matter what we do.
I mean, this is true. It is me that we're talking about.
Oh shit, I got 5 successes.
Can I borrow
Oh,
some
wow.
of yours?
Exceptional success. Okay. Isabella, you hear the sound of not just vermin, but also of small mammals like cats and dogs, domesticated animals. Largely just cats and dogs.
Do I see them or do I just hear them?
No, you just hear them. They sound quite violent as well.
Like fighting?
Violent, panicked. Some of them sound quite weak as well,
Oh god.
as if they're in pain.
Oh, I'm about to get real pissed probably. Do y'all hear that?
Hear what?
No.
Sounds like a bunch of animals. Not good.
Ellie is really kind of weirded out by the fact that someone else hears something that she doesn't even have an inkling of. So she's like, "Are you all right?"
Multiple people have seen things already that weren't there. As you continue to walk down the sewers, The water is really reduced to a trickle on the floor, but it remains very damp. And the whole place just stinks of waste that's just lingered here for decades. And as you move through the sewers, it just sort of begins to sort of blur into a maze. Sometimes sometimes you just walk straight, you go left, right, around. Half the time you think you're going back the way you came. You're not sure if Holly is doing that or not, if she's doing that on purpose to confuse you, if she's leading you down the wrong path.
Can I do a roll to like consciously be trying to
Yeah.
keep track of where we're going? So
Yeah,
we
I
can
just
get
wanted
out.
to
You
say-
can make a roll. It's going to be a -5 death penalty. This place is a very literal maze. There are no real marks or signs to notify where you've been. There's really only stray bits of detritus and very minor details, some of which probably wouldn't even last by the time you get back, like a large cobweb that might be shifted, or a certain pattern of brick that you just happen to notice, but there might be another pattern like it in another corridor. It's very, very minor, inconsistent details. But you can roll. A success will give you a vague idea of where you're going. An exceptional success will give you a firm idea of how to leave the area if you feel the need to get out early, so
What's
to speak.
the roll?
It is a wits plus survival with a -5 death penalty.
So not. We can just try rolling one die, right?
So chance
If you-
die, right?
It'd be a chance if you have 0 dice, you roll a chance dice. A 1 is a dramatic
Yep,
failure.
0.
A 10 is a success.
So
If you're just
what-
reduced to a
what-
regular dive, and it's 8 is a
Okay.
regular success, 10 is an exceptional, 1 is
What
just
was
a
the roll
failure.
again, Bishop?
Wits plus survival.
Oh,
-5.
bugger. -5.
Also,
Oh.
Chris, can I ask, does either trained observer or alley cat help in this as a merit?
This
Sorry.
isn't really the streets. This is the underground. Very few people go here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll ask a rat about it later.
And trained observer, does that do anything?
Trained observer. 1 second. Let me double check what that does again.
Reference, I say we just peel the bitch if we feel lost.
Key on her?
I have 2
Heal.
successes on that roll.
Like an
That's impressive.
orange or a banana.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where you're going with that.
We're in the sewers. There's enough waste products already.
Yeah.
You have 7 dice. I'm impressed.
Oh, was there a penalty that I did not pay any attention to?
Oh yeah, it was
Yes.
-5 dice.
Oh, continue.
You're
with
heading
my-
into a literal maze of sewers for what is at least 20 to 30 minutes. Like, this isn't a short journey. Either because you're being given the runaround or because it really is that long, which might explain why the revenants have been able to why they've been able to remain hidden for quite a while. Like, who would be able to find their way down here outside of the very experienced Nosferatu or Maquette? But I'm just going to double check. Trained observer. Yeah, you benefit from the. You got the 3 dot version, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you benefit from the 8 again quality.
Okay. It would still be a chance die for me, but
Okay. Yeah, chance die isn't really affected by this merit because chance die
Yeah, I
can only have
figured.
be a success no matter what.
I was hoping that it would add. Does actually aspects? Does that add anything to this in this roll? Probably not.
Actually, no. It says anytime you make a perception roll, so it would turn your 10 into an 8 again.
Okay,
Even if it's a chance dice, it will turn it into an 8 again.
let's give it a try.
Hmm.
Probably not, knowing my luck so far. I failed something again. Why can't I do this? This stupid dice. I forgot his face.
I think no, you might. Let's see.
No, I don't have any.
Yeah, but I may be the dice roller being pissy.
Well,
That's
one
what
of
you
these
think.
two will work. One of these things is not like the others.
One of these things just doesn't belong here.
Oh, what? Why did I get you? Whoops.
I don't know.
I tagged as a. Oh my God. It keeps tagging. There we go. Let me double check here. So it should be that. No, I think it's just the dice roller not working. So I'm going to. Oh, there you go.
Ah.
I'm just going to roll for you in my private, super secret Batcave dice roller.
I mean, I can try it again. Maybe that'll work.
No, I'm doing it now. It doesn't
Okay.
work. You can do it.
I'm such a fail monkey. Even Discord is like, you should just stop rolling.
I mean, this skill is just. I mean, I would have gotten a dramatic failure on my dice roll. Yuck, you didn't get mine. I rolled a 1 on the short stuff. But yeah, does not appear to be cooperating, which is kind of annoying.
Evan,
We all
roll for
died,
me.
right?
Do it.
Like, one second. I'm gonna try something different. I'm just gonna. This roll.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
I got something.
You just fell.
I just fail.
Okay, no, so you don't.
But it's
you don't
incredibly
really
slow.
have- Yeah, it was really slow. So you don't really know where you're going. In the details here, this place there has been no real signals put up to tell people where they should be going. There have been no deliberate clues or hints left behind. Certainly not anything that you can see. This place just looks like an old, very old Victorian era sewer system that has been disused for some time. So you are quite lost, and you don't really know if Holly's taking you the right way or not. But if anybody wants to question how well you're going along, you can. Within that half an hour time span. Because you have been at it, well, not half an hour, you've been at it for like 15-20 minutes now. So,
So where exactly are we going?
Our house, I guess you could call it. What did you expect?
Those dogs belong to you? Do those dogs belong to you?
And there we go.
Ah,
There we go. Just had to swap internet connections because my regular one just balked itself. So no, but Holly just says to you, Isabella, my house. What were you expecting? A red fucking carpet?
Are those dogs yours?
Dogs.
The ones I can hear.
Maybe you can ask JL and find out. She continues to walk you down the sewer system for another 5 minutes until things begin to open up again. And this is where evidence of occupation becomes very obvious. There's quite a lot of graffiti art along the walls and the ceilings of the sewers. There are there's appears to be some sort of like a makeshift lighting system. You can see wires taped rather haphazardly to the walls and connected to sort of old electric lamps that have also been either nailed or screwed or taped to the wall. And various predatory auras begin to emerge from the various corridors and pathways in the sewers. Animal life also becomes more present here. There's significantly more vermin around. But they seem to give all of you a great deal of space, give you a wide berth. They literally stop for you as you walk and actually get out of the way, often scurrying back into the tiny little holes or pipes or tunnels that they came out of.
Nice place you got here.
Isabella, you can still hear the dogs and the cats. And
Does it seem louder?
Same. Yes, but as you began to move down this now lit sewer system, which is still quite large, she begins to move away from them, like she's taking you down the opposite direction, or at least in a direction that is moving away from them.
Mm-hmm.
You see numerous kindred here, revenants. Kind of hard to tell from just their predatory aura, but you would assume they're revenants if they're down here.
Do we have a
There's even
rough count of how many there are?
About half a dozen pop out to look at you, or at least see what all the footsteps is about, see what all the noise is about. But particularly Isabella's unfamiliar voice. But only about half a dozen or so. As you begin to walk down one of the larger cisterns, you see about another half dozen. Some are just talking with each other, lean back against the wall. There's some like light decorations made up of rags and DIY. Some of it actually quite well crafted, like a plane made out of Coke cans, just kind of hanging from the ceiling.
There could be as many as a dozen revenants down here from what we can see.
You've seen at least a dozen.
Where are they all coming from? Who are they all coming from?
Well, some of them have just popped out of various corridors to see what's going on.
No, I just mean like it's more like, damn, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. There are a few chairs and tables that have been set up in a larger cistern, and there's even something resembling a bar, believe it or not, and a fridge. You see the generator that appears to be powering the lights. It's a old rusty thing that's clearly its last few years. It has you could hear it before you even saw it. It's quite loud. and sounds as if it could, as if it's going to give way at any moment.
How long have y'all lived down here?
Some of us longer than others. The place is quite well lit. And a couple of, at least a few, about 3 or 4 of them seem to have guard dogs of them that pay attention to you, but they're in a state of rest. They're sort of lying down, they see you, and their heads just perk up lightly. Their ears raise a little bit, but they see Holly, and then they go back down again. They look as ragged as the revenants they serve, like strays, nuts. Many of them scarred. Some of them have puncture marks. Those with animalism too would probably recognize what that means.
Yeah.
In fact, Marcus, you definitely know what that means.
Yep, familiars.
Mm.
I would say Marcus leaves an unopened packet of dog treats on one of the trays and just says, "You can have it. I can get more." And walks on.
It's one of the familiars.
No, to the assembled kindred. He walks on so that they can just pick it up if they want to.
They don't seem to respond to it. If you interact with them, they look at you with a degree of suspicion.
No, it's okay. Marcus literally leaves it behind him, and they shall do with it what they want.
So.
Can you keep following her?
She'll follow you. You will follow her through the cistern in what appears to be a very large area that looks artificially built. This place doesn't look like it's part of the sewers. It's a large open space. There's no water here. Well lit. It's one giant circular room with a few other smaller hallways that a couple of you can see expand into larger rooms, and you can see bed bags and even a couple of actual beds, single man beds. In one of the rooms and alcoves that this place branches out into. But towards the end of the room, there is simply a very, very large, sort of like it's a large chair that has so many odd bits and bobs attached to it. It almost looks like a throne made out of junk and rusted metal. There are many revenants in this room. You count at least 2 dozen.
Jesus. In addition to the ones we saw inside.
Some of them are the same. Some of them followed you in. You would wager you're looking at least 3 dozen revenants, maybe a few more, give or take. They all appear to be gathering in this room as you enter. And a great deal of animals begin to slip through the cracks, mainly just vermin, Some of the dogs begin to come on through, but a few cats as well. Large cats. They don't look like they look a bit abnormally large. Not quite right.
By the way, because I will say it, because it's wrapped in 3 or 4 layers of fabric in Joshua's in a special inside pocket of his coat. Bishop, I do have a very shiny, bright light source.
Mm-hmm. That
in
is.
In case I have to Kami-ha the place.
Is that a hung spell, or is that just perpetually active?
It's basically it was effect. The spell was cast, and effect was put into duration, which is an effect you put dots into, and it's on for like a year. Yeah, I put
so I guess that should. Okay, so something important to mention: Joshua's jacket has been glowing this entire time, with clearly unnatural light.
We've had it before that if I covered it up enough, it would dampen the light.
It would dampen the light, but like it's extremely bright. Like this thing lights up a whole room, so it's still like there's still a sort of low ambient glow where your jacket is. It's just not.
We need to get like black.
It's just not blinding,
blackout
right?
tape or something.
Yeah. It's unnatural light, so it's generally fairly difficult to conceal. You can mitigate it, but yeah, if you wanted to black it out entirely, you'd need you'd need an actual like setup for it. Like
I was gonna say in that case, he'll put it in a small box, like a small metal box inside his coat, like rather than wrap it. It's in a small metal box.
Okay, that'd be. We're just gonna say it's in the jacket for now because that's a bit retroactive, and it would be like fairly difficult to conceal with everything else you got on hand right now.
Okay, that's fine.
The lantern by itself isn't too difficult to conceal. It's just there's just a slight. It's just a it's like you got. It's kind of like you got a torch on inside of your jacket. It's that sort of glow. It's not like a giant giveaway or anything. It's just a bit weird. And to kindred, obviously, who know what the supernatural is, it's obviously the rational person would say something's off there. But
can I use Animalkin or Feral Whispers to try to figure out, like, basically just ask, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing here to the animals?
Yeah, you can do that. If you just want to talk to them, I won't even have you roll. You can just talk to them. If you want to command them, it'll be a roll. But if you just want to talk to them, yeah. So you just ask them, hey, what are you all doing?
Yeah, why did they bring you in here? Basically, I'm trying to figure out if they're about to attack, or they've been told they're about to get some food.
Okay. When you ask them that question, the rats all respond at once.
Hi, mind, yeah.
And they'll go. Cool. They'll go. We don't know you.
Oh, I'm Isabella. That's Joshua. That's Kat. That's Marcus.
Well, we've been told to make sure you don't do anything aggressive.
Oh, well, that would be super stupid, being there's so many more of you than there are of us.
Yes. It is unwise to attack a swarm.
Yep, sure is.
Sitting on the throne of these two individuals. Well, not sitting on the throne is the woman. Standing beside it is a recognizable gentleman to many of you.
Oh God.
But he towers above the woman in height. Even if she was standing, she'd only be like 5'5". Obviously, you'll know who Hickory is, who's quite large and bulky, with that distinctive curly red hair. He looks like he's been through the shit, which is entirely accurate given that you're in a sewer system.
I don't believe I've met Hickory. I think I'm the only one here, maybe, or myself.
I have either. I don't think I have.
No, you did. You're the
When?
ones who remember when you went to meet those revenants? Your future
Oh,
child?
is he the one who's preternaturally terrified of me?
He's the one you had ghosts terrify him.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I saw it.
He has a permanent derangement of fear towards me.
Oh shit, I thought that guy died. Nice.
No.
Are you getting in?
Oh,
Are you
boy.
getting into my territory here?
Yeah, no, Bishop, he is, you even declared it at the time, he is pants-wettingly terrified of me, and he thinks that I am the wrath of God made manifest.
Yes.
So we've got the wrath of God and the angel of death.
He seems to be more stable in front of you now for whatever reason. Although he definitely, you can tell he remembers what you did to him as he seems to clutch the chair, this sort of makeshift throne, and his fingers dig into the jagged metal that seems to pierce through his hand, but he doesn't seem to express any pain.
Oh man, did you get promoted to king of this place? Good job.
The woman is the one sitting on the throne,
Oh.
but she crosses a leg with interest. She wears, she has sort of, she has a sort of a green pea coat that's clearly seen better days. And like black jeans that have also clearly seen better days. But she doesn't appear quite as roughed up or as ragged as the other kindred here. She appears to have at least some sense of style or bearing about her. The way she seems to compose herself, even if it isn't expressed through her rather dilapidated appearance, is one of composure, not necessarily authority, but of composure. And she does actually put a hand on Hickory in reassurance, looks at him, gives him a look of what appears to be genuine compassion as he calms himself down a little bit. And she looks at you.
Nice place you got here.
Thank you. That is kind of you to say. As I'm sure you understand, few of your kind come down here.
I can
Certainly
imagine.
not this far.
You don't make it particularly easy to find.
By design.
I can imagine.
Thank you for having us.
You are very welcome, Marcus. Holly has spoken rather fondly of you.
I would have come earlier, but on the surface there were things that needed doing. Sorry for being tardy.
Not at all.
What was her name, Bishop? We were given a title. It's like the Jade Lady or something like that.
Jade Lady, the Savior of the Lost, Queen of the Underground, King of the Underground, the Rat Queen. She has a lot of different names and titles that Kindred seem to, particularly Revenants, seem to ascribe to her. And she's clearly a very effeminate figure now that you're actually looking at her. But she she simply looks at you. She has a fairly. If there's one thing about her, it's quite striking. It's her eyes. We've got a fairly dark tint, and for anyone looking, no, it is not yellow.
Good.
Thank you. I was about to ask.
She will get up off her throne of scrap and trash and walk up to you. Some of the animals will follow her. One of the rats will even climb up her leg and rest upon her shoulder. And she will sort of give you all a polite bow of acknowledgement.
Gives her a bow back.
I have a lot of names. You can just call me whichever among them you prefer.
What's your actual name?
Many of us prefer not to use our mortal names.
Yes.
Those that have met swifter ends than those that don't.
It's fair. Just thought I'd ask.
You are welcome to ask any question you like while you are here. I cannot say you'll be given an answer, or even an honest one, but I will at least endeavour to answer them for you, so long no hostilities are shown. You have our hospitality as a collective.
Appreciate
Bishop, who uplifted him? Because I know someone did. I thought. Wait, what?
He's the one that killed his handler and ran. He's blood hunted. That was an announcement made around a month or two ago.
Did he take the forbidden slurp?
It was never defined as to whether or not he diablerized somebody. You reckon if he did commit the amaranth, he would be a true kindred, but there's no way to really tell unless you were to get a sample of his blood and somebody would be able to analyze it.
Ooh, pick me.
Or if someone were to simply use the power of Auspex, they would be able to tell someone's skilled enough in that particular art. Farthingale, would you like to roll me your wits plus obfuscate again?
Yep. I was wondering when you were going to ask.
Well, there are a lot of revenants there, and some of them do have that particular gift.
Wits plus obfuscate.
I'll be back in just a minute.
As long as you do not get a dramatic failure, you remain hidden.
Give me a second. This is where I get a dramatic failure.
Well, you have to choose to take a dramatic failure. You can't actually automatically gain one. It's not like watching in Overworld. You can only ever choose the offset of choosing.
4 successes.
There you go. So, yeah, you get the 4 successes. You can always choose to take a fail or dramatic failure. If you choose to take a dramatic failure, you automatically gain a beat.
Bishop, this person who is like blood hunted, his identity is sort of widely known, I would assume.
Oh, yes. His name is Hickory Willa.
Right.
Of course, many of you, some of you don't actually recognize this individual because you've never seen them face to face before. You can't really put a face to the name. But those of you that have, and I think that's all three. I think that's, Farthingale, Joshua, and Isabella, I think have all seen this person before.
In that case...
Farthingale, I think Farthingale's around when you...
In that case, time to put a little bit of the fear of God into him.
Oh, God.
Reflexive, just have him hear a whisper in the back, seemingly from behind him, as a voice goes, "I'm watching Hickory." Just whispers, "I'm watching Hickory," into his ear.
His back straightens sharply as he twists, and one of the arms of the throne twists with him. But obviously he doesn't see anything, and he looks confused. Scared and angry.
I mean, he's seen me do bullshit before. He's free to make the assumption.
What bullshit are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing bullshit?
No.
Hickory is. Not Hickory. Hickory's the subject of bullshittery from somebody else, but it's fine. JL does turn back.
Who was going to? Who was going to uplift Hickory before they were killed?
Nobody. There was no plan. It
Oh,
was really only an offer if you succeeded in killing your sire, and he bailed.
who brought him out on his hunt? Or did anyone?
No, it was not a PC.
It wasn't a PC. Okay.
It was not a PC. It was a
who
member of
brought
the
him out?
Invictus. A member of the Invictus brought him out to hunt down a quarry. He destroyed them mid-hunt and left the immediate vicinity, and then vanished a few nights later. Nobody could really find him past that point.
Joshua crosses his arms, and he looks up and he says, "I accept the hospitality offered. Yeah, sure. And I'll even hear your confession for your sins, Hickory."
Once again, Bishop. Reflexive ringing of distant church bells.
Oh my god.
We're horrible people.
Timed so that as Joshua says, "I'll even hear your sins," Hickory would just hear ding 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 ding.
He shivers, takes a step back, and says, "You stay the fuck away from me." Jill's composure changes slightly. She frowns. Please
I thought
let
the
us
idea was to
remain
talk.
civil. Yes.
I have merely said that this man has killed one of ours in cold blood. That must weigh heavily upon his immortal soul. I would seek to unburden him of this weight.
But then have not most of you as well?
He turns and he says, very slowly as he leans upon his cane, "And I will answer to my Maker when the time comes, as we all will."
Well then, you in particular wish to speak with us. What is it that you wish to discuss?
He holds out his hand for his childer to see if his childer will take his hand.
Yeah, people seem to look at her in particular. Some look reminiscent, almost nostalgic. Funnily enough, you've noticed Holly seems to recognize her. The way she looks at her is definitely one of recognition. Not necessarily affection, but recognition. Some look at her with looks of accusation and betrayal. She receives a very mixed reception.
But does she offer the hand when it's taken? Or I'll basically
Yes.
take my hand after. She goes, "I love my childer. And that's why I'm here. Because I saw the pain that burned in her eyes. that burned in the eyes of all whom were lost. He walks to one of the revenants and he doesn't touch them, but he extends a hand to them, still holding his child's hand. He says, "You, do you have a father, a mother, friends, people who miss you?" Just to any random revenant, Bishop.
Someone across, another revenant from across the room says, "Don't answer that."
And what about you? Who wishes to speak? Were there those who cried next to an empty grave, who never saw your face again, simply as you vanished into nothing?
Yeah, I cried beside their grave.
What has happened to you is the incarnation of a nightmare made manifest. It is the flesh consumed by the maggots that would rot away any hope you had of a tomorrow. And for that, I am aggrieved and truly, truly sorry. However, you know that you cannot continue as you are now. Eventually, this utopia of rats will end. Someone will be found out. Your hunger and your condition will overcome you, and the princedom will come. I am standing here tonight because I love my child, because she could be more. You can be more. It will be so much easier for you to walk with me out into the night and acknowledge that here you stand than for them to come, and they will come. It is inevitable. Inevitable as the dawn. That is what I have come to say to you. I have come to stand here and say, I extend my hand and my protection so that you may walk out into the night. I do not know what will happen then, but I will fight with all of my power to see to it that you can have a night that has more nights to come. Would you like me to roll something?
Yeah, manipulation subterfuge, because you absolutely know if this many revenants were taken to the court, they would all be killed. Maybe a few would be given the gift of uplifting, but most would be destroyed.
Yeah, there are a lot of these guys.
Oh, I was missing for that. I thought it was half a dozen.
No, it
Oh,
was half a
no.
dozen when we first
It's like-
got there.
there's
Now
like-
it's like
There's like over 30 surrounding you guys now. There's a literal crowd of them.
Oh, bungle fuck.
There's a lot of revenants.
At
here.
last count, Evan, we were at 3 dozen. That's at
Oh.
minimum 36.
Oh,
So, yeah.
So it's a nice sentiment, but not exactly accurate.
I believe the phrase is, they are gonna die.
yeah. It's that is.
You know that London has many hundreds of kindred in it already. It's already nearing max capacity. I mean, not that there's statistics for it, but you know that.
there's already
this
turf wars
makes-
all over the place.
Yep. The population density has created a lot of instability. Which, well, as an outcome, you see every night.
Oh, that's fairly.
Power. Oh dear. You can always take a dramatic failure. Repeat.
Good God.
And what? And get us all brutally murdered in a sewer? No thanks.
Damn you for seeing through my plotting, my virulent schemes. The crowd isn't particularly convinced. Needless to say, they probably never were going to be, surely. After all, there's a reason they're down here and not up there.
Where did they all come from? How long have you all been down here? This isn't sustainable. And this isn't normal.
You would be surprised by how sustainable it can be with the correct setup. There are ways, methods, scripts around our condition.
Really?
Yes,
Fascinating.
it is not. It is not. It's not easy to explain. Wherever it is that we have had to make many adaptations to our new lives and conditions and our unfortunate place.
Are there
That's
people
the-
helping you? Or something helping you?
The Carthians.
Well, besides them.
You understand that if I were to answer that question, it would be a great betrayal indeed.
It depends on what it is or who it is. I'm under the impression that there's things that seem to have been happening randomly or happening with certain intentions in mind.
I believe I do not understand. Could you
And just to
elaborate?
clarify out of character, it is really weird for there to be this many revenants in this small of an area.
Roll me your intelligence plus occult.
Also, Bishop, side question: is the fact that revenants are really easily possessed by the Strix common knowledge among kindred? Like, is it like a common fear?
It's basically unknown. It's a sort of it's a superstition.
Right, but it is something that kindred generally believe.
Some kindred believe, yes.
Okie dokie. And are Revenant and are the Strix commonly referred? The Strix nickname as owls. That's common knowledge.
And more people know them as the owls than the Strix.
Right.
Strix is a more technical term.
Okay.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. Isabella, you're aware that revenants tend to gather in places that are called burrows, like a badger burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Large communal havens.
Mm-hmm.
For a multitude of reasons. In part because they're all outcast together, in part because having a buddy system is one of the more effective ways to control one's hunger.
Mm-hmm.
Because really all they have is each other if they want to survive. They don't really have the power to survive on their own, nor the experience, nor the education.
Mhm.
So they need each other.
Right.
So
But
they
even
keep
just to have this,
gathering-
because I thought, like, I feel like a couple months ago it went from, like, this is something that is super, super rare to have, like, a handful of them, and now all of a sudden there's 30 of them.
It is rare to see them in communal havens this large and boroughs this big. It might be because of London, it might be because of what you know,
Mm-hmm.
that the revenant population is spiking.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, if there's many kindred, they might not be that powerful, but they could make some serious moves in the city with just as many bodies.
Yeah,
A very
exactly.
powerful disposable force.
Right. And, you frenzy them all at once in a direction. That's a problem.
Even a frenzying revenant is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly one that survived a few decades.
Yeah. Not to mention hella masquerade breaching.
Something you do actually that does when JL does speak of secrets that enable them to adapt to their condition, you have heard of revenants that survive for longer than a few years do seem to grow a sort of resistance to their own sense of hunger. They seem to almost resemble a true kindred in that aspect.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
But you don't really know what it is other than or the how or the why, just kind of the what. Like that they seem to be more in control for some reason.
Adapt or die.
But yes, that is your information.
Okay. I assume you've been here for a while.
For some time, yes. Some of us haven't been here for very long. Myself, perhaps longer than some of you.
Pardon the nosy question, but something is making me very curious. Did you have a spike in your population, let's say 10 months ago, where before you were less and now you are considerably more?
I have noticed that there are more and more revenants being made within the city, more lost souls joining our community, but I do not know why. More kindred, perhaps? Your population has been in recovery since the war 20 years ago.
We think it's something a little more
Pernicious.
that.
You believe we are being deliberately created for a purpose.
Yes.
That's the short and long of it.
The why of it we're not too sure of. But I could think of a reason to set a ticking time bomb under the city this big. No offense.
You think this is big? Then perhaps, if you would do me the favor of explaining to me what you know, I may do you a favor in return. I have, contrary to what some of you may believe, I have no desire to see more of us made. Our condition is not a kind one.
No, it's not.
If it were my choice, I would see all of us uplifted on the spot.
I can't blame you.
It'd be tricky, but it might be something to get done.
At
They'd have
least
to be-
then.
Hmm?
Sorry, my apologies.
You want to know if there is something pulling the strings here, and if there is a reason for this many of you existing at once. Yes?
Hmm. There is always someone pulling strings, particularly upon those at the bottom of the ladder, but yes, in essence.
Then allow me to test. He mutes himself right as I ask. Hey guys, you got those shadow knives ready for the Durka Durka?
Sure do.
Yes, shadow sword even.
Right.
Sorry, what is it you wanted to say?
He basically
You said
says,
something.
then let me test to see. Basically, he says, I can see if there is something that stands amongst us and is pulling the strings.
She looks warily at you and raises an eyebrow.
None of your friends will be harmed. None of the revenants will be harmed. You have my word.
It is a little MacGuffin that my friend here has. If, let's say, owls with ill intent are around, they will show themselves, and we are well equipped to deal with them.
The mention of owls raises Jail's hackles. Nobody else seems to really recognize what you just said. She does.
I have fought them before. I know that they can be destroyed.
So, by your leave, Queen of the Underworld.
She gives you a sideways look, but says, with my leave.
He stands at the center of the room, and I'm not going to roll sleight of hand, but he basically makes it appear in his hand, like very just kind of, very showman-y trick, as he just says, and if anyone can tell where I'm stealing this from, you're so much cooler than I am. From light, darkness, and out of darkness, light. As I reveal the orb of blazing light.
Light floods the room, forcing you all to look away from it briefly.
Putting soggy sunglasses on.
Bishop, I've got a bit of an I have actually found a relevant quote as well. Yeah, Evan,
Mm-hmm.
you just go to hear of the comlink, Isaiah 9:2.
That's actually not where the quote comes from. It comes from World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, but Isaiah 9:2. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. Those who live in the dark land, the light shall shine on them.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
I need to read more religious books for my cheese and my corn.
greatest fantasy novel ever written. My humble opinion.
So, as the light floods the room, most people just look away. A couple, however, begin to squirm and contort. And before long, you see those ever ominous figures.
Bishop invisibly charging at them, scythe ready.
From out of light and darkness, and out of darkness. How many are there?
Just two.
Well, that's terrifying.
Oh, fun.
So, Bishop, what would you want the stats to be for a goddamn scythe?
Give him a second. He has to do bishop things.
What, like anoint you?
As you see them pour out of the bodies of two revenants, everybody begins to burst into panic. They're not sure whether to attack you or these things. You're going to charge one of the sides, right?
Also, Bishop, quick question. Do kindred disciplines work on the Strix?
To that, all I can say is, eh?
Well, we're about to find out. As I'm going to use Face of the Beast with Dread Presence as I swing my scythe to basically whatever the hell the Strix is frightened of. I am now it, and I'm swinging a scythe at it.
You just turn into a ball of light.
Ball of light with a scythe.
Yep. So yeah, is it strength plus thingy to hit in this game?
Yep. You won't need to roll for either. You'll get a free hit on it.
Yay! What's the damage?
Passes through the Strix.
I'm gonna do Shadow Knife.
As if it were made of shadow.
But does his effect? Can he intimidate the Strix, being the living incarnation of what it fears?
Whatever you do to it, it doesn't seem to even care. It realizes you do something to it. It flies up, and it chuckles at you in a tone which is encompasses the entire room. It's like the walls are talking to you.
He wins.
But it seems to take whatever you do to it on the metaphorical chin. It doesn't seem affected.
Gonna throw a Shadow Knife at it.
I believe, Bishop, it would be fair for me to just bellow up at it. I'm gonna kick you in the beak.
Ugh.
Can I have an XP because that line was really funny?
Ugh.
In
Also,
response,
I think
it's going to emit an ear-piercing screech. I'm going to need everybody to roll their stamina plus composure.
Yeah.
Bollocks.
No
Did we lose any
willpower
dice?
can be spent on this one, right?
You can spend willpower.
I'll spend 1 willpower.
Are there minuses to the check?
Oh, good.
I will also spend a willpower on this.
Yay! 1 success. Fucking
Would be
dice
nice if
rolls.
Discord work. Discord is
Was
playing.
it composure plus? I lost the first one.
Which
Stamina
plus
plus
composure? Oh yeah, stamina plus composure. Yeah.
Thank you.
If you're adding willpower, is it add to the roll or is it just +1?
Willpower is +3 dice.
Oh, right. Okay. It's been a while since I actually rolled dice in this game.
Unfortunately, I only have like 1 point of willpower, so I can't spend it.
Doesn't it reset every month?
Not as far as I understand it. Not in this game, which is another thing I dislike about Requiem.
Doesn't it?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
You only get it back by fulfilling weird
You're masking your
arcane
dirge.
traits.
Well, in that case, I'm going to save it because I only have a few then.
I just picked a mask and a dirge that I constantly do because I
Right.
constantly put myself in horrible danger.
Well, when you do that, is it just one? Because I honestly, I have no idea how many I have at this point.
I feel it necessary to point out, Evan, that like with your luck, your character,
32%.
your character could literally be walking through a nuclear reactor, and somehow you would come out smelling of fucking roses. Whereas my characters could be attempting to bake a sponge cake and burn down the house.
I mean, it could always be worse.
I mean, you get the motorcycle joust. I think that's fine.
I missed on the first run, though.
But you made it great on the second one.
Eh.
Anyway, I got 2 successes without willpower.
Anybody who got less than 3 successes
Seriously.
Yep.
is forced to
Fuck
end
you.
these and loses their action.
Okay.
Yeah,
Aha,
I
I-
managed through.
I was going to say, I also wrestled through.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm invisible. I can die quietly.
Hey, Izzy, are you paralytic?
Apparently.
I was going to say, can I borrow a shadow knife?
I mean, I'm paralyzed, so I guess you can if you want to. I
Hooray!
can't stop you.
Also, how did you make these shadow knives?
I
That was
didn't.
Constantine.
Right.
After this downtime, I can make something better than a shadow knife because it'll do ag damage and hit spirits. Fuck Constantine.
Right, once you do that, I want you to make me a spirit stabbing scythe.
I'll make you a spirit side.
Yep.
So, Bishop, for those of us who aren't frozen, should we roll initiative or what do you want to do?
Nah, just go in. Let's see, Joshua first, then Marcus, because Joshua's
Yeah, fair.
I do have all the speed currently. Gotta go fast.
You do have.
I think my speed at the moment is like 15.
Oh, wait, you know what? I should have rolled more dice than that. God damn it. I forgot that the stamina was buffed. Hang on.
Rolling at the speed of sound, the biggest hedgehog around. Nope.
Of course.
All right, so Izzy, I'm gonna borrow your shadow knife.
Sure.
Sorry. As Joshua leaps at the Strix.
And then immediately flies through the Strix.
Oh no, this knife can hurt it. Bishop, what's its defense?
5.
Does the shadow knife give any bonuses to hit?
Nope.
Okay.
It's just a regular knife.
Cool. In that case, I'll spend a blood and a willpower. Yeah, I'm down to 4 willpower. To strike it, so that's an additional 5 dice. Do I have to declare what I'm spending my blood on now, or when I do it?
When you do it.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be a total of 5 strength, 2 vigor, so that's 7, plus 2 weaponry, which is 9, plus 5 for the spent, so that's going to be 14. So that's going to be rolling 9.
Okay, it's gonna spend for a celerity action.
Is it going to hit me first?
No. Just make it roll.
Okay, so I just have to do my mental arithmetic. So I'm rolling 9 dice.
Yep.
Oof, 1 off, an exceptional success.
Okay, you hit it for a lot of damage.
I'm also going to spend blood for my vigor. So it'll do an extra 2 damage.
Okay. Then I believe I've misunderstood. So, yeah, you do need to declare that. When I say when you do it, I mean like when you take the action, not after you've hit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'll let you do it now because it was a miscommunication, but yeah, for the future.
Okay, neat. That's why I was saving my other blood point, basically.
There are certain things you can say, like, for example, with the celerity thing, you can say, like, if you hold back a bludgeoning with a blood point available, you can say, okay, I take my celerity action now, because that's something you can use as an interrupt. But for vigor and stuff, you need to declare that before you hit something. Yeah. Impressively, it does not go down. You cut off its wings, but it simply seems to dissolve into shadow and slink away. You didn't see it evaporate, but it's sort of slinking into the cracks in the wall. Like a sort of, well, I guess to compare it to Old World, like a La Sombra's tenebrous form. It just becomes indistinct inky shadow when you cut it, destroying its more cohesive form, but beginning to slink back into the walls. Oh,
So my internet just had a crackle. So did I hit it?
you hit it. What happens is that its physical, its more cohesive owl form breaks as it dissolves into a sort of black inky substance. Its yellow eyes are gone, but it doesn't dissolve or explode or anything like what you've seen before.
Okay.
It just sort of sinks back into the cracks in the walls. Marcus.
Yes.
So something's going to happen when you go to attack.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The entire area is going to be blanketed in shadow.
Oh, balls.
Giving you a, I believe, a -2 dice penalty to actually do any physical action. The sight of everybody literally disappears. It is as if you've had your eyes taken out and you've been physically blinded.
Gotcha. Has Marcus got the blinded tilt on him?
Yeah, you all effectively get the blinded tilt.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
Does that include those of us with aspects?
Yes.
Okay.
Auspex doesn't enhance your sight, really, in that context, or kindred have enhanced sight by default. So, yeah, Marcus, is you're attacking as that happens.
Okay, so So I take it as Joshua was slicing the wings off and breaking its corporeal form. Marcus got at least a good sight where the owl was seen last, slowly melting into the wall itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Even though blinded, Marcus will continue charging, spending a dot of blood to buff his physical stats, and basically having the sword in a stabbing motion so that he could try and stab that rough area that he remembers the owl being, since he saw something similar happen at an Elysium. So
Yeah.
he'll go and stab the wall and hope that he hits something, frankly.
Okay, yeah, you're looking at a pretty heavy dice penalty, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Second. Actually, you need to find the tilt. Find it, here we go. You suffer a -3 dice penalty on top of...
I don't take it that I can use willpower for combat, right?
You can.
I just did.
In that case, sorry, my mistake. Should have clarified that earlier. If you'll allow, I would like to burn another willpower just to negate that. If that's okay with you.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, going for leather.
You can do it, Marcus. I believe in you. If it was Saskia, I'd be praying to the merciful Lord God, but I believe in you.
Thank you.
Tell him he's an asshole.
2 successes.
So, get 2 successes. You tear into it, the blade gets half stuck in the wall. The cut isn't clean. You know you cut it, but you can't see if you've killed it or not.
Gotcha. Well, I think that's the end of my round.
You're left with at least one of the Strix in the room, but you can't see it.
Bishop, bit of a weird question. Both myself and Farthingdale both have Thief and Sorcery. Can we roll together to do something?
With Kruik you can. I think Theban's Sorcery, however, is much more difficult. I don't think you can, because I think with Kruik it requires a specific merit. So I don't think so.
Okay. Out of curiosity, like, what can we still hear? Like, are our ears working? Can we hear like screaming and running and like noise in general?
There's mass fucking panic. Yeah. You're actually being jostled around by people. You're not sure if it's deliberate or not. It's sort of you're bumping into people. People are running past you.
Bishop, couple of technical questions. Firstly, what is the role? Like, it is possible to do Thief and Sorcery like spontaneously, isn't it?
Yeah, I've made it so that it's turn-based as opposed to literally every 15 minutes per roll, because I don't like that.
Okay, and so what is the role to do Thief and Sorcery? Just to check.
So if you want to do Theban sorcery, you need the sacrifice for the spell. This is the limitation of Theban sorcery. You need the correct material sacrifice.
Ah, right.
It's
So
not
they-
with
So-
cleric, you just spend blood, so it's easier to cast. But with Theban sorcery, it costs a blood point and a material sacrifice.
So, Bishop, I have an idea. Now, this is going to get a bit funky. I do apologize. Joshua smokes, right? Because he's openly smoked in previous scenes. So, in this game, I take it that vampires also don't like fire.
Nope.
So, have you seen those really cool lighters that you put the cigarette in and it produces an incredibly hot blue flame, lights a cigarette nearly instantly? Like you press the cigarette in, blue flame, cigarette lights.
Oh, you mean those small blowtorch?
The
Yeah.
butane blowtorch ones, yeah.
So what Joshua's going to do is Joshua slips a ring off his finger. He bites the ring so that it breaks. He takes his lighter out of his pocket, because I've seen these. They are, in fact, waterproof. Justin has one when he lights for this reason. He stuffs it in. This is
Blowtorches are waterproof, you said.
the blowtorch. Yeah, they're designed to be waterproof. Basically, they have a little clip on the inside that basically means that unless you're actively lighting it, the water doesn't get into the mechanism. It's pretty neat, actually.
You'll laugh. I actually bought one in a few in the last downtime. Okay, I know what I'm doing in the next round.
But Bishop. He stuffs the remnant of the gold ring into this. It's going to fuck the lighter and possibly blow up in my hands. I'm okay with this. As he lights it on fire to basically melt the gold, and I'd like to start casting a ritual, or like start casting transmutation.
You need a mirror for the transmute for purifying light.
No, I'm not trying to do purifying light. I'm trying to do transmutation, the one that needs liquid gold. I'm trying to turn the Strix into something else. Or rather, not the Strix. I'm trying to turn the darkness into light.
So, after you're done, can I do a thing?
Yeah. I'm just waiting to see if I can do the thing, or if Bishop's going to
I
go,
know,
no,
I
Evan, shut
know,
up.
I know. I realized that. I was like, there's silence. Oh, wait, no, you're waiting. That's why there's silence. So, I'll wait. Sorry.
So, okay, you want to use transubstantiation.
Mhm.
You've got the liquid gold. You can make the roll.
Once again, but I'm entirely happy if the lighter blows up in my hands and does horrible things to my hands, because that makes entire amounts of sense. I'm stuffing something into somewhere it shouldn't belong.
Hey, if you want to make a dramatic failure, that's fine.
Stop giving him ideas, Evan.
No. How many successes do I need for the ritual itself?
Transubstantiation is 8 because it's level 5 ritual. So
So yeah, it's going to take me more than one turn anyway. So. Oh, that was a terrible roll. He has one success, so I'll continue casting next round. Continue with life.
Oof. Alley Cat, what did you want to do?
I want to do the Auspex thingy.
Okay.
So, I guess I roll my Auspex?
You roll.
Mm-hmm.
Wits plus empathy plus all specs.
Okay. I want to point out I have not yet succeeded on any dice rolls this scene, so I don't have a lot of hope for this one. But okay.
You've been back in all your luck, Saskia. It's all here now. Here, I'll even lend you some of my dice luck.
Oh,
Have
thank
some of
you.
mine
Thank
too.
you. Okay, here we go. Yay! I have 2 successes.
It paid off. It worked.
You're welcome.
You may ask your beast a single question relating to any danger. Or,
Where is it?
danger. You see the miscloaked form of the Strix. One of them is already gone. Whether it's dead or fled, you don't know. Your beast
Mhm.
can no longer sense it, or isn't trying. The other one, which spread this darkness, is flying away. It's already flown out the room.
Asshole. I wanted to be stabbed with the sword. Now, I don't have the sword, but Marcus has the sword.
Yes, he has, and he can
Um,
still hear.
but it's flying away, right?
No.
I thought Bishop said it was flying away. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna do something dramatically stupid. I know
Yeah,
it's not a
one of the
dramatic
st-
fail,
one of
but
the
I'm gonna do
Strix.
something dramatically stupid.
So one of the Strix is already flying the other way. The other one you can't sense, either because it's dead or already
Yeah.
managed to flee into a place that you can't reach.
I am going to try and grab the Strix and shout at Marcus, "Stab here!"
Okay.
Because that sounds like that could totally not go wrong in any way, shape, or form.
To be
Oh,
fair,
absolutely.
I also have a potentially stupid idea that probably won't work.
I love you. like Ali is basically doing the Goku with his with Radish thing, where she's like holding onto the Strix,
Yeah,
like stab.
go for it. Hey, I mean, I can try at some point.
You're gonna jump at the Strix.
Kamehame here.
Uh-huh.
Come
I'm
here,
basically
you.
not trying to attack it. I'm just trying to, keep it where it is. So I will make noise, and yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you make the noise, you jump at it, your hands just pass harmlessly through it.
I know, but I'm still in the place where it is.
Ah, so you've located yourself so that Marcus could roughly hear where you
Yeah,
are and charge towards that and pray that he doesn't
exactly.
accidentally impale you.
I mean, that's a small price to pay for that Strix, right?
Quite true. It would be very heroic of you.
Eh.
Bishop,
Mm-hmm.
when we get around to it, I'm going to try a Thieving Sorcery thing, and it probably won't work because I don't know Thieving Sorcery that well. But it's gonna be worth a try at least. You say our eyes don't work. Hello?
No, your eyes, you're blinded right now.
Right, so, but they are still physically in the sockets, yes?
Yes. Basically, it's just you're surrounded by
Okay, because I'm going to try and...
shadow.
I do have Divination 1 as a theme. I can't do much with it, but I'm going to try something potentially kind of stupid. The sacrifice is my last point of willpower and pulling out his own eyes, rendering himself blind until he heals, which I assume will take some time. And I'm going to try and basically give my colleagues, divine for them make it so they can see the Strix, or at least see again.
On me, on me.
Okay, what is your level of divination?
The theme I have at Divination 1, but as I understand it, that allows me to get a basic bit of information. I think location here is fairly basic. Right. So that would be, based on what I'm seeing here, that would be intelligence plus occult plus theme. So
Yes, what you're doing is you're improvising a spell, so...
Yeah. So in my case, int 3, occult 3, and a theme of 1, so 7 dice.
I'm just going to check the level this would be. This is going to be, I think, around... it's 5 successes.
5 successes.
It'll be 5 successes of all the variables involved, yeah.
Alright, this is gonna suck, badges.
Because it's range, the duration, the number of targets, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm using my last willpower point as a sacrifice, so I can't spend it. Okay.
oof.
This is gonna suck, but here we go. Roll 7. 3 successes. Fuck.
You can keep casting like I'm doing.
All right. In that case, I will continue to cast next round. Bishop. Odds are the Strix will be dead by the time I get round again. But there we go.
Can I do a thing, or am I still frozen?
Well, I was frozen and I've done a thing, so I assume you're not.
Yeah.
I
You
assume
lost
you
your
can
action,
do
but
it.
they've got actions back, and I'm not really rolling initiative here because it's just going to make things very slow and boring. So, you want to do anything, Isabella? What do you want to do?
Okay, so all those animals that are hanging around,
Yeah.
I'm gonna command them all to attack this thing.
Attack everything.
All these animals are tired of your shit.
Okay.
My thought being, at least some of them should be able to sense where it is, and will at least demonstrate where it is, and maybe do some damage if we're lucky.
Roll me your animalism plus your blood potency because many kindred are controlling these animals. So it's a clash of wills.
Okay. Does just had the page and I lost it. Damn it. Animalkin or animalism?
That's your animalism plus blood potency.
Okay. I'm gonna spend a willpower on that. There it is. Damn, 1 success.
You have 7 dice.
I spent willpower.
I spent willpower, yeah, that's right. That's a draw. You're not able to wrest control away from the owners of the animals.
All of them? Like, are they all belong to people?
Oh yeah, they're all being controlled. I will say this: you get a few rats to slip loose, but it's like the dregs of a swarm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I literally can't do anything else because I can't see. He took my weapon, and that shit doesn't work apparently. So I guess I'm just gonna sit here.
If it helps, I was planning to give you back your weapon, but I can't because I'm blind.
It's almost as if the Strix knew exactly what was going to happen and reacted accordingly.
I mean,
Wait, hang on,
Horror.
Bishop. Where's my Bishop? Where's my lantern?
It's been where you left it. The lights of the lantern got drowned out by the shadow, literally snuffed out.
I'm still making noises and standing in its place, so
Yeah,
someone can stab it.
Mhm.
Hey, give
Oh,
me
I'm just
give me a
waiting.
few more seconds of desperate casting and ripping out my eyes. I'm gonna.
I'll roll again to.
I mean,
I'll
I
roll
think
again for
Marcus
use
still has to
sorcery.
do the round, basically.
Oh, Marcus does do the round. Cool. Marcus, charge. Stab.
Thank you. I've been waiting patiently. Okay, with Alley Cat having shouted and giving Marcus an idea, he just lets out a bellowing war cry as he charges. Once again, spending willpower, spending a dot of blood to boost his things, and let's pray to our and Jesus that this works.
What's its defense? Is it still 5, the same as the one I stabbed? Check the shank.
Yep, same roll as before.
Do it!
Kill it.
One success. And that is with all the pluses and minuses taken care of.
I mean, it's still a success. We can do this again. I do need to ask if it hit me too, but yeah.
Instead of hearing the effortless slicing of shadow, you instead feel the crunching of bone and flesh and feel blood splattering over your face as you hear a familiar voice cry out that you can't quite place.
Uh-oh.
Does it sound like Alley Cat?
No. It's strange.
Um,
It's almost you know this person, but you can't remember who they are.
Marcus also knows that the Strix are good at, faking voices, like when the telephone call came in, the first time around. That it sounded like Richard, but it actually wasn't, as we found out later. So, going out on a limb here, but let's just say Marcus just knows that they can be tricky bastards. So, against his better judgment, he'll pull out the blowtorch and just pull the trigger in the direction of where he's stabbed, and hopes that does the trick, that it burns the Strix.
You hear a screaming, then a thudding. And the shadows will begin to fade. The darkness sinking back into the center of the room. The lantern once used to illuminate this entire space now just... it's almost as if it's made of obsidian, really. Even the flame that that lit the room is now just black and blue.
Quick question, Bishop. How did this affect me, since I was kind of standing in the middle of Strix?
You are unharmed.
Huh, nice.
Whew.
Marcus did not hit you. But the red sort of a red smoke you saw, resembling a Strix. Sort of inky black form it had and the yellow eyes. It still lingers around the broken body of whatever Marcus has attacked. It appears to be one of the revenants.
Aw.
Does it look
Hey.
like? Yeah.
Oh no, I was going to say, hey Izzy, want to do some weird science about it?
I mean, you just left.
She back.
So wait, they just got stabbed?
Marcus appears to have torpid somebody.
Oh.
Is the blinded tilt still on us, or are we able to see with our eyes again?
You can all see with your eyes again. You all resolve the blinded tilt. Tilts don't give you beats, conditions do. So
Gotcha.
just for future reference.
Mm-hmm.
Condition where tilts are more like environmental effects, like being knocked down and stuff.
Yeah.
Bishop, I've got a theory. Can I roll intelligence occult to see if my theory holds water? I think the Strix was inside this guy when he was torpid, and I don't think it can escape him because he's actively unconscious. Can I roll to back up that statement?
Sure.
Dice penalties?
Can I do the same thing but with medical? Because I've studied. Well, I didn't study. I mean, I studied the revenants.
Sure, -4 dice because people know jack shit about the Strix in general.
For both of us, or just me?
Both of you.
Neat. Does my spec in What Goes Bump in the Night apply?
Yes.
Yeah. 3, 7, 8, -4. Yay!
Yep, that's about right.
Rolls like a dairy farmer. Dairy.
Still don't know what that means.
It's somebody who farms cattle. For
No, I know what a dairy farmer is, but what does rolls like a dairy farmer mean?
I don't know.
And Terry, like, don't feel bad. Like, it took me 3 attempts to end up blind to no actual benefit.
Yeah.
Because I plucked out my own eyes just in time for the Strix thing to fuck off. So, yeah. I think next time this happens, Farthingdale's staying in bed. Because bollocks to these little adventures.
If it helps, next time this happens, I'll have the ability to give your sight the ability to cut spirits.
That's all well and good if we can see.
Yeah, I think next time he'll just stay in bed. Possibly like attach the scythe to a ceiling fan.
Oh well. If it helps, my guy has got a few dots in herd that he hasn't tapped this week yet, so we might be able to help you.
I have heard it's just a case of depending on whether this counts as lethal or ag, it's going to be rather annoying.
So, your question, Joshua, was it can't escape. right?
I was wondering, does that theory hold water that the spirit maybe couldn't escape while the victim was torpid?
You've seen Strix forced out of bodies. That would imply that they can leave whenever they want. More importantly, a vampire body is just a corpse. An animated corpse can keep moving until, well, it's been so heavily damaged it can no longer move. What would normally destroy or torpor a kindred probably wouldn't matter for someone who just treats it like a corpse to be puppeteered.
Okay.
It's like, it's like, if something's broken but somebody still grasps the body to shake it around, then technically the body's still moving, right? It's sort of that thing. It's like if you're puppeteering it, it doesn't matter how damaged the body is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since combat seems to have ended, Marcus would like to grab some of the gold and silver coins that he has and basically casts them gently over the body to see if there is any effect.
Sorry, my attention was split. What was it you were trying to affect?
Taking a handful of the gold and silver coins that my character has and gently casting them on the torpid body to see if it has any effects.
Not to your knowledge. Not to your knowledge.
Okay, cool.
So we need to bring this guy to, like, the sword guy. What's his
You
name
mean
again?
Constantine? Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Do we?
I mean, what else do you want to do with it?
Joshua's going to calmly walk up and lob its head off.
Wait, the revenant?
The one, if there's a torpid body, it's going to be off goes the head. Shing.
Well, I suppose that is one way of going about it. Okay.
Actually, are we the only people left in this room, or are there still other people here?
Oh, there's still like 24 revenants and JL left in the room. Hickory's gone.
Very calmly, Joshua will cross his arms and he'll say, I believe you spoke of owing someone who can answer your questions a boon. I'll consider that a boon owed to me.
Oh, you just killed this fucking guy?
No. He looks up at her and goes, do you honor your promises and your agreements?
Excuse me?
You said, in exchange for answers, as to why there has been a spike, I have answered your question. Because you are being puppeteered by fell entities whom even now may be moving once again amongst you in different flesh. I have answered your question. Do you acknowledge the boon that you owe?
What is it that you are implying? What is it that you want?
He crosses his arms over his chest. Oh, is my light source still there now that we can see again?
Yeah, it's some unholy black flame.
Very calmly, Joshua, he goes up and he crushes it under his boot. I don't care if I take damage for it. It's the symbolism of the thing.
Yeah, you'll need to make a courage check and you'll take 2 levels of aggravated damage.
I am okay with that. Does my armor mitigate that?
No, Kevlar only encompasses your torso.
Okay.
It actually
So
says that on the armor sheet, so that different types of armor encompass different parts of your body.
Neat.
Kevlar, whatever reason one dot is because it only encompasses your torso.
So what is the courage roll?
Sec frenzy.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Frenzy in the middle of a group of weapons.
Right?
Oh no.
Great.
As if this evening wasn't already going badly enough.
Wait.
Oh,
no,
God.
Wait. You have raptured.
I do.
Which is actually happen here because you need to resist frenzy instead of riding away. Riding away would probably be ill-advised. Which is a bit of a shame.
Actually, no, hang on. Joshua's not going to destroy the lantern, and there's a reason why. He wants to see why it was changed. And it would make more sense for him to study it than to destroy it.
Okay.
As annoying as that is for him on a metaphysical level.
That's fine. Okay.
He'll kneel down and he'll pick up the lantern as he kind of tosses it from one hand to another before he'll say, I tell you what, I will gift you a new one of these. It will reveal anything and make your home safe. You know what? I don't want to be your enemy. I don't want to have to come back here with an execution squad. I want you to have some semblance of a life. So I'll do this for you. You know that you've been manipulated. You know now that these entities have been puppeteering, swelling your numbers, and will use you if they can for their own means. So we have given you this gift, and I will give you another gift in the form of protection for this place. But in exchange, you must give me the blood-hunted revenant. If he dies, the rest of you can be safe. They have no interest in you. They don't even know you exist. They know him. They want him. They will find him.
Bishop, I'd like to add a bit of emphasis to his words by saying aloud, because we could, and then dropping my obfuscate. So that standing next to Joshua is a man holding a scythe, staring at them with empty eye sockets.
That's neat as all fuck.
So it's like, yeah, you were found even by a blind man, as far as you know.
I was going to say, should I do like a charisma expression or something like that to get my point across?
Yeah,
Or
it's going to be
persuasion?
contested. Because, needless to say, she has less than zero interest in handing over someone she's spent years protecting. Well, not this person, but you know. As far as the revenants are concerned, literally all of them are wanted dead by the court, which is not inaccurate at all. In fact, it's an objective truth, so...
Big fish, little fish in the fryer.
Your presence plus your persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also, for all you know, they knew about this.
Can I get dice bonuses for people backing me up, like Farthingdale and other people?
Yes, teamwork.
It
So-
makes the dream work.
Farthingdale can roll his presence plus his persuasion, and then any successes he gets becomes a bonus dice to you.
Can he roll his intimidation to try and cow her?
Because I did kind of threaten. I basically went, because we found you. And I'm much better at being a scary mofo.
You can. However, if you fail, I will consider it a dramatic failure.
Alright, so that's
Spicy.
presence plus intimidation, or what? Or strength plus
It's
intimidation?
presence plus intimidation in a situation. Strength is...
Plus your nightmare.
Yep,
Yeah.
so that's a total
If you're using your
of...
nightmare, she'll actively lash out to resist that, because she is not a casual revenant. A normal revenant maybe you could cow, but this is she will actively fight that. So Well,
I'm
she's
also
still
going to
just
say
awful
that
there.
since Farthingale has used his last bit of willpower, he isn't going to use Nightmare because he doesn't basically have the mental reserves in his own mind to expend to use his powers. So
Yeah, he should feel drained as fuck, barely standing.
yep. So that's still 6 dice. So
Yeah, as long as you don't fail. However, when a threat goes wrong, well, we all know how that turns out.
yep.
And it isn't really the dice pool Joshua's trying to use, which is normally what's required for a teamwork roll. So that's kind of why I'm putting that condition on it.
No, it makes entire amounts of sense.
1 success.
Okay, so you add a single dice to Joshua's roll. The intimidation isn't really as complementary to Joshua's argument as he would like, but it is an additional point that he can use. It is additional leverage at the end of the night.
So that's 3 plus 1 plus 1. So that's 5. I'll spend, fuck it, the 4th willpower of the night. Let's eat that willpower. So that's going to be roll 7. 2 successes.
Ooh. Unlucky, she gets 3.
That's fine.
That is very unfortunate. She clearly does consider it.
Ooh, Joshua turns on his heel because you know what will happen? You know what? He turns and he says, "And to you, the one who brings me the one who brings me a handful of his ashes, will be uplifted." I'm gonna play her own mob against her because that's what they want more than anything.
Hmm.
Marcus looks a little bit disgusted at that one, but doesn't say anything.
Just quietly over the comms, like, Isabella.
Get ready to run.
No, he's just going. No, I'm just going to say, would you mind walking me out? I can't see where I'm going.
This implies that Isabella knows the way out.
I mean, I've got enough vigor. I can piggyback you for anything, Dale. It's fine.
Well, no. To be fair, like she
No,
at
yeah.
least knows the way back to the water. Probably.
Ish.
Ish.
And if not, then
Well, can I use?
then Requiem suck to begin with and buy.
Are we? So are we heading back now? Like, what was the response?
I've thrown down the gauntlet. She's probably going to say no. I said what I needed to say to the casual revenants. So I've said all I need to say. Other people feel free to role play it. People.
You know I cannot condemn one of my own to execution, otherwise they would not be here. Contrary
respect.
to what that chair may suggest, I am not a queen. I am not a dictator.
So you will not hold it against any here. He points to the revenants who would seek to claim their own upliftment.
As we're walking away, Bishop, Farthingale will just call out, "Those who are willing to sacrifice the many to save the one are unworthy to lead any."
By that logic, the sanctified were never worthy to lead at all.
I never claimed we were, my dear. I never claimed we were.
Yeah,
Then
basically,
please stop hunting my people and claiming that you do.
so basically, what Joshua does is he puts Farthingale's hand on his shoulder, so I can essentially lead him out, like you know, one of the old kind of "come with me, brother" things.
Mm.
I thank you. I do. And I'm sorry that I cannot repay you in earnest. I shall endeavour to find another way.
As I've said, and I have been earnest in my words, truly, if you can leave the domain of London, flee elsewhere, go north, go south, this city is not safe for you. This city cannot house you. Go to Bristol, go to Birmingham, go to York, go somewhere else, and maybe you can find succor. In London, there are eyes everywhere, and they will find you. I have seen what they do. They will find you.
Sadly, I have to agree. It's hardly safe enough for kindred, let alone revenants. As for uplifting, sadly my strength isn't strong enough that I could do tens or hundreds. But at least I can offer the uplifting of one and teach them how to do it. And if they're willing to sacrifice a little bit of themselves, they can do it to another, and thus a chain could be formed. But I would urge you, leave London. It's anything but safe here. And if I have to do a thing roll, I'll go for it.
Throughout this entire discussion, she's not left her spot. In fact, even when the shadows encompassed the area and they left, she did not leave her spot. She has remained remarkably composed in spite of literally everything up until this point. Something that was said, either from Marcus or Joshua, is not immediately clear. Causes that composure to crack a little bit. Whenever she expressed emotion before, it was a frown, a curious look, a slight smile. Very emotionally balanced. But something that was said just seems to infuriate her almost to the point of frenzy before she calms herself down. She simply looks at the rest of the carnage in silence and then looks back to you. Holly will escort you out. I'm sure I don't have to explain that no harm is to come to her.
Of course not.
Before we go, do you know anything about any of the kindred who made any of the ones that have come recently? Anybody remember anything about them?
That is something I have been looking into personally.
If we can follow that trail, it might lead somewhere useful.
Then perhaps that might be how I decide to repay you. But I have wounded to tend to now. And a shadow bridge to rebuild.
Is that torpid guy still on the ground, by the way?
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay. Oh god. Yeah, Ellie's gonna pick him up.
She plants her foot on him.
Sigh. Yeah, I get that you don't trust us, but
What did I just tell the fine man over there?
I'm not with him. He would throw me under the bus probably more easily than he throws you under the bus.
That is not pertinent to what is happening here.
Can I take some of his blood? I just want to check something.
Mildly face palms.
I've been doing research on it. I might be able to help trace some of this back to a source.
Actually, was the stupid man still there, or did Joshua actually execute him? I can't recall. I don't think he did. I think he...
I thought I said he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it, yeah.
He said that he was going to, but then he stopped because I thought we were alone in the room. If we'd been alone in the room, we would have taken his head off.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have tried, I know Ellie would have at least interfered, so there's that.
Then there would have been 2 dead bodies in the room.
Oh, that's
Man,
fine.
I wonder
That's
why
fine.
the revenants are so sketchy about literally any kindred.
Yeah, like why? Why are you going to cut his
Hey.
head off? What does that accomplish?
Oh, if it helps, Joshua's going to get back, and he's going to basically inform the authorities and have this place swamped because that's his job. I am the law.
Hmm.
Yay, getting thrown under the bus.
Oh, he's not
No.
going to throw you. All formed part of his raid team tonight and will be accoladed.
What is accoladed? Just out of character.
Accoladed is like sung the praises of people. Like he will basically let it be known that you did a great good thing for the city today, and you should be rewarded for that.
Oh, God.
Okay,
Again?
good. That's going to be interesting. Okay, cool.
Also, I'm seriously considering once we get back onto the surface, like extending an offer to this Holly woman. If she's interested in being uplifting as a Nosferatu, she can visit us at the circus.
It's okay, but I'm trying to angling to get her as my childer, so you keep your clown paws off her.
Hey, it'll be a nice contest. The blind guy with the scythe.
Alright, so
Now, girls, you're both pretty.
nothing is happening to this man. Yet.
Yet.
As far as I'm concerned, he is not leaving this room.
I think I know someone who could make sure that this guy is still, alright. What could I do to convince you that I don't have any intention of killing this dude?
And it's not hard to wake him up. You just give him some blood. Right? It works the same for revenants, right? To get him out of torpor? I'm asking out of character.
I think so, yeah.
Well, I've been kind of stretching the rules pretty massively for PCs, because if you go into torpor, you're technically out of the game for like a month. Bloodshed generally actually doesn't normally wake up kindred, but I've been...
Yeah, I've also been fudging that in sales.
Yeah, I've just been doing that for convenience because, my god, I'm not putting people out of a game for 10 years. That would be stupid.
It would make combat less frequent, which would probably do me a lot of good.
Whomever you want to bring may come here. They will come here in the same manner that you have.
check. I'm cool with that. And you know what? Ellie probably still has like a soggy piece of paper that has her phone number on it, and she's kind of like getting it out, looking at it, and says, "Well, once it dries up, here." She kind of hands the paper over and says, "Carthians have a saying: I scratch your back, you scratch mine." I think just now everybody scratched each other's back, so that's cool. It's up to you to decide how far you trust me. And she's saying me very specifically, like, kind of glancing over to the not Carthians in the room.
Oi, I've been nothing but helpful.
True.
I mean, it will be funny in a few hours' time when like a fucking Lancair and Invictus raiding team is raiding this place,
Mhm.
and you're the only Carthian that's like renowned across the city as the Carthian that helped the
Nope.
Invictus and Lancair.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I
super
mean-
fun when some of these guys escape and this are super ready to go help the Strix destroy everything. It's gonna be great. Excited.
We're religious. We didn't say we were reasonable.
But yes, back to topic.
Yeah, I think at this point we can reasonably just leave.
So is that a no with the blood?
She stares at you.
That's definitely a no. Come on,
I mean-
let's go.
I believe the phrase is spitting feathers.
Speaking of blood, how much of that blood is actually on Alley Cat right now? Just saying.
Hammer horror film style splatter.
Right?
If you ever wish to speak with me again, Isabella, you're more than welcome to, but perhaps next time with less bodies and blades.
I just wanted to have a conversation.
She looks down at the body and the carnage that's been rolled across the room.
Denver said I was good at conversation.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry what I did to you, mate, but I think I speak for all of us that we should go. We have lingered enough.
This night has answered many questions. I thank you. You may have helped me. I have never seen one of them die like that, or rather, dishumanate. Well, the only one I've seen die was burned to a crisp, so I clearly need to come up with the means to deal with them when they are in that state. So, that has bought you my goodwill, and possibly the goodwill of the city, should it ever be required to be known. But as I said, those of you who can, flee London while you can. Good evening. And with that, he will leave.
Splish, splash, splish, splash.
Holly is there to guide you out. Of course, without her, getting out would be time-consuming, to be charitable. She guides you out through the same labyrinthine network of tunnels that you went through before. And eventually, you are out. She does not leave the water.
I'm assuming I'm going to carry Farthingdale because he probably can't see.
Yeah, he can't see, but he is going to do something a little unusual. Because he has escape 3. He can spread his concealment to you, so he's going to basically reach over and boop you and Isabella and make all 3 of us invisible, including his scythe. That way we can we can walk unseen through the streets.
That's neat.
Yeah.
So wait, hang on. What does Obfuscate 5 do in this game if it's not multiple people? Poof.
Give me a second.
It's like mental maze.
Yeah,
Oh, was that the shit that I was trapped in and I had to fight the dude?
Yeah, Obfuscate 3 is Cloak
more
of
powerful
Night.
than its.
Obfuscate 4 is Familiar Stranger. And Obfuscate 5 is Oubliette. Where I can basically make a pocket horror realm. I could turn an alleyway into an unending maze if I wanted to with that level of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just had to ritually
like a
mark a
really,
place, so at some point I might do that with the circus, so that if people annoy us, we can just shove them into a room.
Basically, yeah, they make for great prisons. But yes, once you make it out, Holly disappears back into the tunnel as soon as she sees you to vanish. Obviously, Alicat and Marcus, you're free to go your separate ways. And I think for now, thank you guys for playing. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye.